All right, our news right here from Times Tabloid says expert reveals his investment strategy for XRP, right? Imagine sitting on a gold mine for nearly a decade while everyone around you calls you crazy. You watch other assets pump, you listen to the endless noise on social media, and you endure years of brutal market volatility. Most people would have cracked under the pressure and sold everything. But a prominent crypto enthusiast on X, Emanuel C, just laid out a brutal, honest, and brilliant blueprint explaining why holding through this exact grind is the only way to achieve life changing wealth. We are now living on this year of 2026 and the crypto landscape is splitting down the middle. We are moving away from the wild, lawless days of pure speculation and moving directly into an era of massive, regulated institutional utility. In this video, we are breaking down Emmanuel's exact long-term XRP strategy, focusing on patience, asset tokenization, and the massive difference between the market before and after. We are also going to talk about real risk investment so you never get forced to sell your bags early. So let's break down the data, but before that, let's check XRP's current price. The current price here is at 1.3337, and as we can see on our daily chart time frame right here, XRP experienced a breakout above our major trend resistance right here. All right, my analysis for this coming new days is that I think XRP will continue to move its way up, and it might reach our minor resistance right here at 1.3833, provided that the bullish momentum will build up. All right, now let's go back to our news, and let's continue with the question about why does true financial transformation move at a glacial pace. So let's address the elephant in the room. Many retail investors buy a token like XRP and expect it to replace the entire global banking system by next Tuesday. When that doesn't happen, they get frustrated and complain that the asset is dead. But Emanuel C right here points out a harsh reality that we all had to learn since 2018. Changing global financial payment networks is a slow, gradual process that takes many years. In my opinion, I completely agree with this macro perspective. You cannot rewire the central banks of the world overnight. These institutions move with extreme caution because they are handling trillions of dollars of global wealth. So to me, the fact that this takes time isn't a sign of failure. It's a sign of scale. If it happened in a week, it would be a bubble. Because it takes years, it's a structural migration. As long as a long-term holders, our job isn't to guess the exact day the switch flips, but to recognize that the migration is actively happening in the background. Now, will regulation create a complete separation in the crypto market? Emanuel C brought up an incredibly vital point regarding the evolution of industry. He stated that the cryptocurrency market uh, before regulation and the market after regulation will be two entirely different worlds, right? So let's just highlight this part. And my opinion to that is that this is the ultimate divider for digital assets. In the unregulated era, any random meme coin could pump 10,000% based on pure hype, while high utility assets sat flat. But in this new regulated era we are entering, the Wild West is dying. Regulated markets require compliance, legal frameworks, and structural security. This is exactly where XRP shines. While unregulated tokens will likely face immense pressure or disappear completely under new global laws, XRP is built specifically to thrive inside a regulated financial ecosystem. So, in my view, when full regulation lands, capital will violently rotate out of speculative garbage and flood straight into compliant, utility driven networks. All right? Now, is asset tokenization the unprecedented wave we are waiting for? Let's highlight this part. The post on X also highlighted the emerging trend of asset tokenization, describing the issuance of actual money and real-world assets on blockchain networks as an unprecedented development in human history. Tokenization is the real endgame for the XRP ledger. We are not just talking about moving digital currency back and forth. We are talking about putting real estate, stocks, bonds, and global commodities directly onto the blockchain. Even though this process has taken a long time to gain traction among traditional institutions, once the momentum shifts, the acceleration will be staggering. So my take on this is simple. The first wave of crypto was about retail speculation. This next wave is about tokenizing the entire global economy. When trillions of dollars of traditional assets require a high-speed, low-cost bridge currency to settle transactions, the demand for underlying utility assets like XRP will be unlike anything we have ever seen before. Now, why is accumulation and long-term holding still the ultimate strategy? Reflecting on his 9-year journey, Emanuel C explained that his core objective has remained incredibly straightforward throughout the ups and downs. That's accumulate as much XRP as humanly possible and hold it for as long as possible. He noted that when he calls bank money, let's highlight this part. When he calls bank money, the massive institutional capital flows always arrives much later than retail investors expect. So in my opinion, this hits home for me as a trader. Retail investors are notoriously impatient. They want instant gratification. But institutional wealth moves on a completely different timeline. They accumulate quietly, build infrastructure slowly, and position themselves before the floodgates open. If you want to invest like the smart money, you have to adopt their timeline. My strategy aligns perfectly with this. Forget trying to day trade the macro shifts. Focus on building your stack during the quiet phases, because once institutional volume arrives, the entry points we see today will be gone forever. So, How do you manage risk and successfully survive the wait? Right? Let's highlight this part. A massive portion of Emanuel's insights focused on the psychological and practical challenges of holding an asset long term. Drawing on a legendary concept from Warren Buffett, he reminded everyone that wealth creation is fundamentally a game of patience, where money is transferred from the impatient to the patient. To survive this wait, he highlighted two major priorities. And that's the first is minimizing risk that could force you to sell early. And second, maintaining absolute financial stability through tough market conditions. Now, in my opinion, this is the most valuable piece of advice for any crypto investor. Your biggest enemy during a long holding period isn't the market or the bears. It's your own life circumstances. If you don't manage your personal habits, your health, and your daily financial responsibilities, a sudden emergency will force you to liquidate your crypto at the worst possible time. So my personal rule is clear. Never invest money that you might need for real life expenses next month. Protect your downside. Build a separate emergency caution and ensure your financial stability is rock solid. That way, no matter how volatile the market gets, you can comfortably sit on your hands and protect your long-term wealth. All right. As our conclusion, Emanuel C's strategy right here is very clear, where long-term investing requires a complete shift in mind. We must accept that changing the world's financial payment infrastructure is a slow, multi-year process. The upcoming division between the unregulated and regulated crypto markets will completely change how digital assets are valued, and the rise of real-world asset tokenization provides a massive, unprecedented foundation for utility networks. By focusing on a straightforward accumulation strategy and treating our holdings with the same patience that institutional bank money uses, we position ourselves for the ultimate outcome. Surviving the wait requires us to actively manage our personal risk, eliminate bad habits, and maintain a level of financial stability that prevents us from making emotional, premature sales. Sacrifices made today in pursuit of future milestones are exactly what separates successful wealth builders from the rest of the crowd. So we need to stay disciplined, keep your focus on the macro utility, and remain patient through the noise. Alright, and this finally ends our video. Thank you very much for watching, and see you on the next one, or you might as well check this next recommended video right here.